Hey guys, we don't get too serious usually on this show, but there is an organization that really could use your help. It's called Color Me Love. It's Color, Colour. And you can actually check out the website, colormelove.com. And what they do is provide a lifeline to children who need hope and healing. They turn trauma into transformation, and every child's story of healing is heard and honored. It's more than just a program, though. It promises every child is not alone in their struggles. So how does a contribution actually help the children? It builds a safe and welcoming facility or haven. It purchases art supplies, equipment, and other therapeutic materials. It funds professional counseling services. It covers the cost of daily essential needs-based items. It ensures ongoing support and development of their programs and the safety of their community. I mean, what better cause could you donate to? Again, it's called colormelove.com. It's COLOUR melove.com. They also have a GoFundMe. I'll put the link to the GoFundMe in the description notes of this show. If you want to make a contribution, again, you can go to the GoFundMe link or directly to colormelove.com. Again, guys, this is an organization that is absolutely worth your time and any donation that you can spare. It's going to the best cause possible. So check them out, colormelove.com.
This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the WWE Podcast.
The champ is the one that everybody wants, me. Becky Lynch is going to WrestleMania. Claymore! Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. This is my iron. You're going to acknowledge me.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Week in Review on this Sunday. It is January 21st, 2024. I want to welcome you guys to the show as it is Rumble Week. Unbelievably, it's finally here. It feels like Survivor Series was a lifetime ago, but now the Royal Rumble is this Saturday, just a mere few days away until we get to find out who is going to be headlining WrestleMania for the men, for the women, and maybe get another appearance or two from returning stars. We'll see. And but before we get to any of the projections for Royal Rumble, we're obviously going to look back this week. And I've got a new co-host with me tonight. It's Amanda from the UK, longtime wrestling fan. I'm really excited to have you on the show, Amanda. How you doing?
Hi, Matt. Thank you for having me. I'm doing great. Thank you very much.
Well, Amanda, before we dive into the Week in Review, I need to let the audience know kind of who you are and you know, what kind of wrestling fan you've been. And we talked a little bit off air, and I was curious as to you know, how you became a wrestling fan. Like, what are some of your earliest memories, and what kept you a wrestling fan during the as we talked about during the 90s? Like, what were some of your favorite memories during that time?
Oh wow, yeah. So wow, I've been a wrestling fan since I can remember, being a small child. As I was saying to you off air, my nan used to watch the wrestling on a Saturday afternoon in the UK with Big Daddy and people like that. And she used to get very much into it, and you know, used to be quite potty mouth about it. So I guess that was my first, you know, sort of first trip into the wrestling as a sport. And then yeah, I guess as you said, the 90s was my key time, with WWF as it was then, WWE obviously as it is now, and the Attitude Era. Absolutely loved it. I think my favorite, one of my favorite wrestlers has always been the Undertaker. I love Mankind. I loved some of the 90s tag teams as well. So Hardy Boys, Dudley Boys, Rock and Sock Connection, all of those kind of really old school that seem now old school 90s DX, all of those kind of that were a little bit bad and a little bit naughty. I liked those. So that would be my sort of main memories from back in the 90s.
I mean, you can't go wrong with any of that. Anybody that watched during the 90s, if you're a millennial, even a Gen Xer, I mean, you did remember and should remember that time. Some of those, I've kind of found myself lately going back to YouTube and reliving some of those moments and just looking at it and going, wow, they let a lot go on 90s TV. You know, like some of the things that they did back then, the things that they said and did, if they did now, I mean, you'd have people with pitchforks at WWE headquarters with some of the things that they said and did, but people loved it, accepted it, and the ratings were never higher. So different time. Yeah. And I mean, I still laugh at some of the stuff that was done, and but moving forward, I know that you mentioned you took some time away from wrestling and came back to it. And tell us when you came back to it and what were some of the first things that you saw when you came back.
I guess about 10 or so years ago, maybe a bit more, maybe 12 years ago-ish, and I used to have a job where I worked night shifts. So the timings worked out quite nicely because I'd come home from work and be wide awake and be able to watch it live as it is in the US, which is, rare. And I think one of the main things I remember from that period, I think would have to be probably watching The Undertaker. I remember watching the rear end of a lot of the so to speak, the rear end of some of the Undertaker's sort of matches, career and time with WWE. And I guess then sort of watching throughout as the women's role in wrestling sort of became a bit more serious, would move past the jelly fights and the pillow fights and stuff into actually what they can do. So seeing that evolve, I guess, is what sort of hooked me and kept me in.
Yeah, I mean, it's really crazy when you think about the women's division, where it was, like, as you said, just about 10 years ago or so, even when the Divas Championship was still a thing, and the women to some degree were still kind of sexualized, and they were, or if they weren't sexualized, they were more used as filler with 1-minute matches. And then there were there wasn't really much of substance, not all the time, but most of the time that was going on. And to see how far they've come now, it's really amazing. And honestly, a lot of it has to do with the fans who kind of started this movement. I don't know how much WWE would have pushed it if the fans didn't. So, it is pretty remarkable to go from pillow fights, bra and panties matches, gravy bowl matches, live sex shows, all that stuff, to main eventing WrestleMania. I mean, it's really fascinating. And I mean, you could really have a whole podcast on just women's wrestling.
Yeah, you definitely could. If I had the time and stuff, I would love to do like a then, now, and future type look of where it's all been and where it's come from. Because if you think of, like you said, back in the day, and Jerry Lawler's, what we look at back now as cringy, awful comments and awful things. I'd like to stick my face in your puppies, etc.
Right.
To where we are now, like you say. Absolute ass-kicking women who are, actually bringing it and, like you say, main event in the biggest shows. It's quite phenomenal, really. So, yeah, for me, that's a big thing. But yeah,
one thing that I'll say is, before we get into the main product, is how have they not done another women's Evolution pay-per-view? They did it once, like 7-8 years ago. It was an amazing pay-per-view. And then we never saw it again. And I'm like, why is this just a one-off? I don't know.
It was awesome, man. That was, it was probably one of my favorite pay-per-views. I loved it. And I thought the quality was excellent. And yeah, like it must make money. It must be a good thing for them. I don't know, because there's so many more women on the roster now. I mean, the rosters are pretty well stacked.
Yeah. I mean, you could make this an even more annual show. You really could just make it part of the annual calendar for the WWE. I don't know why they don't. And it would continue to show the audience that they're taking the women seriously, that they have their own exclusive pay-per-view. And I don't know. But all right, well, let's move in here, because we are now into a serious part of the wrestling season. If you're a wrestling fan, or you're a fringe wrestling fan, or you have friends that are kind of like, only when it's not, it's socially acceptable to be a wrestling fan, they start to come out of the woodwork now because it's Rumble season, which means Rumble season leads to Mania. And we have arguably one of the best matches of the entire year, one of the best pay-per-views of the entire year in just a few short days. And that's taking place, of course, in Tampa, Florida. And before I ask about anything this week, last question will be, do you have a favorite for the men and women for the Royal Rumble this Saturday?
So with the caveat of any possible unexpected returns, because, who knows, maybe people are coming back. I don't know what the current situation is with people like MJF or Sasha, or, I don't know where they are. But so with that caveat, I guess my picks for the men, probably really unoriginal, Cody or Punk, and the women, Becky or possibly Bayley. I think I'm leaning towards Bayley because I think, we're going to get to the shows coming up, aren't we? But I think it was a bit of a massive signpost, and I think that's hopefully a double bluff that they're not going to just do Becky versus Rhea. But yes, they're my picks.
Yeah, I mean, I would second that right now. I mean, those are very solid. They're not, it's not that it's unoriginal, it's just the ones that make the most sense. It doesn't have to be shockers, right? And I don't expect, people are saying, oh, The Rock will be in that Rumble. And I very much doubt The Rock is going to be in the Rumble. Very much so. He can make a match with Roman Reigns with just his words. He doesn't need to win a match to set up Roman versus himself for the championship or not. So, I mean, I would agree, outside of some crazy big return that they're going to try to shock the world with and turn everything upside down, which I don't need them to do. I think those are the smart picks, Cody or Punk, and Becky or Bayley. I mean, those are the very smart picks for me. And I lean towards Bayley if I had to pick one, and I'd lean towards Cody if I had to pick one for the men right now. But either one is good because there's also another path for both the men and the women come Chamber. So it's not the only way to go when it comes to, main eventing WrestleMania. There's another path, and that's through the Chamber, which is through Perth, Australia. And that's a whole nother massive event that'll be next month. So, but let's talk about the women's division quickly. And we had Becky come out and confront Rhea this week. And did you, I'm not trying to dissect it word by word, but did you find this to be an effective segment? Were you excited to finally see Becky and really Rhea finally together? They've been on the same roster for like 6+ months, and they never really crossed paths other than once backstage. So I think, it was not, for me, it was nice to see. It was finally like, okay, we can sink our teeth into this. It's not officially a program yet, but it's more of like, hey guys, this is what's coming. What did you make of this?
Same. I'm really glad that if they're finally getting to Becky Rhea, I think it'll be an awesome match. They're both great. I really like Becky, and I love what she's done for the women's division. I feel like, her, probably Charlotte, the 4 horsewoman, I guess, have pulled the division up by its bootstraps really there. So I'm happy, but I didn't feel like the promo was all that. I don't know what the reason was. Becky's usually a solid promo, and it was a perfectly good promo, but it did feel a bit by numbers. And I'm not sure if that was deliberate from WWE, if they're telegraphing, hey everyone, we've got Becky Rhea coming up, and then there's going to be a big swerve, and maybe there's a return at the Rumble and it doesn't quite happen, or actually they're going to do a Bayley blindside. I don't know, but yes, I'm happy that the program is apparently happening, but it didn't feel quite natural, or not sure.
No, that's a good way to put it. Not natural is a good way to put it. And I remember criticizing her promo, and I like Becky, but her promo, it was delivered fine, but it felt so written because I remember her saying, we're 2 women from foreign lands. I'm like, no one talks like that. That's not how people speak. I don't care if you're from the UK, the US, Thailand. That's not how you would speak to somebody, like if this were supposed to be something real we were buying into. It felt very much written. Like I was sitting there reading her script to her as she was reciting it. And she delivered it fine, but it was all but natural. And I think that's a great way to put it. And Becky's been guilty of that over the last, several months. There's been incidents of it, but at the same time, when she's on and she just goes off the cuff and it feels like she's not reading, she is second to none. And she has had a really good match after really good match after really good match, and including the one that everyone hated that felt went on way too long with Trish Stratus. The match that they had in the steel cage, I think it was at Payback or whatever it was easily their best match that they ever had. I mean, she knows how to deliver it. But this particular interaction didn't get me super excited for their program, only because the promo was kind of like, it didn't connect in the way that I felt like it should.
Yeah, totally. And like I said, maybe, it was a preparation problem. Maybe she, who knows? And maybe it was meant to be like that because maybe it's a big fat red herring. Who knows? Let's see.
Yeah, no, it could be a red herring, but I mean, you'd imagine they're going to get to Becky Rhea. I mean, they're the two biggest stars, arguably, on the women's division on Raw. So you would think so. But to me, the most interesting part of this, honestly, wasn't even the scriptedness of Becky in her promo. It was more about the crowd and how they were going to react to Becky and Rhea once it finally happens. Because I don't know about you, but I feel like Rhea Ripley has a more, right now, organic connection with the fans. Even though she's a heel, they almost have to try to turn her heel every time she gets in front of a crowd because the crowd is ready to embrace her. Yeah,
totally. Rhea's where Becky was, post when she got bashed by Nia, whenever it was a few years ago. She's like organically a babyface. She's a great character. I mean, since Judgment Day and how her character has developed, oh my God, like chef's kiss, perfect, right? I mean, she's perfect.
I mean, she's always on top. I mean, she tells us she is. So, I mean, it's true. And I think that, that's a great way to put it is, right now, Rhea doesn't have to try to connect with the crowd. She just is and does. Becky right now is trying to work every time she comes out to try to reconnect with the crowd and remind them that, why they should like her. And it's not that they're going to turn on her completely, but if given a choice at WrestleMania in front of a WrestleMania crowd, if that happens, I mean, I honestly could see Becky Lynch getting booed and Rhea getting cheered. I mean, I could see it.
Yeah, it's pretty much like face and face. Like, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know because Becky's Becky, and even when they were trying to turn her heel, the crowd didn't really want to boo her. They still wanted to be with her. But yeah, you're right. That would be cool. That would be interesting to see how that plays out.
Well, speaking of the Judgment Day, though, I have to ask you, what are you making of this whole R-Truth just out of nowhere hilarity?
I mean, it's the funniest thing I've seen on WWE for a long time. I mean, it's hilarious. That whole bit with the backhanders on the bootleg t-shirts, hilarious. I wanted to go on and buy one, and then I saw how much they were, and I thought again. But I mean, just brilliant, absolutely, just genius. Whoever is writing that stuff, the guy's brilliant. And I don't know if you've seen on Twitter or X. I saw a picture of them. They're obviously traveling together in a car, so it had the whole Judgment Day plus Truth in the middle seat of the car. It was like a dysfunctional family holiday picture. It was brilliant.
No, was he photoshopped in, or was Truth actually there?
I couldn't tell. I don't know anymore. Who knows what reality is? But it was hilarious. Either way.
It's getting better, and I don't know how it's getting better, but it is. And to me, I am this close to shelling out the $32, which that would be the most I've ever spent on a WWE t-shirt. For getting the Three Amigos, Tom and Nick Mysterio shirt. I'm this close. I'm this close to pulling the trigger. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I love it. I think it's brilliant. A bit of balance and comedy over the years of WWE. So some of those moments are the ones you really remember, aren't they? And I think that's brilliant. Yeah.
Well, getting to something a little more serious, though, is the Seth Rollins injury that happened during the Jinder Mahal match for the world title on Raw. And Jinder came close. And I think that there was a moment, even us that are watched wrestling for a while thought, oh, my God, that could be it after the shot with the briefcase and then the Colossus. We're like, oh, my God. Seth Rollins, though, reportedly tore his MCL, a partially torn meniscus. The latest reports are that, well, first of all, he'll be addressing the crowd tomorrow on Raw. But the latest is that they feel he might be able to make WrestleMania with 6 to 8 weeks or 6 weeks or so of rest and recovery. So if that's the case, then that means he isn't going to be at Chamber. He won't obviously be at the Royal Rumble, but he will be there in time for WrestleMania. That's the latest feeling, is that Seth is still going to do that. What are your thoughts on all this?
It's horrible. I've done my ACL and my meniscus myself, so I know how just horrible of an injury it is. So hopefully it is an MCL, which will mean his recovery is, not too bad. And, it might be fortunate because I don't believe he was scheduled for anything particularly sort of coming up past Jinder. I don't know. Is Monday going to be him vacating, or are they going to conveniently forget that rule and just let him hold it? I don't know. And if he does vacate, then obviously, how does that pan out? Do we have a tournament, or, it's interesting, isn't it? And I don't know if Seth was almost ready to drop anyway. I think he probably over defended slightly with all the, workhorse champion business. It kind of, I feel personally, my opinion, it devalues the belt a little bit when you defend at the drop of a hat. But yeah, I love Seth. I think he's great, and he's done brilliant. And since the belt came on to the show, and the way it was introduced by Triple H, saying that to compensate against Roman's absence, I guess it has done that. It has, but yeah, so it's a real shame. I feel sad for him.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, we'll know tomorrow what they're going to do. They have to know already what the plan is. Yeah. If I was push comes to shove, I would say Seth will do any and everything he can to be at WrestleMania, and I totally would be behind that. Now, the match with CM Punk is highly anticipated. It arguably is their second biggest match on the whole card. So, I mean, they're going to do everything they can. Seth is going to do everything they can within their power to make sure that, Seth is able to make that match. Now, do I think that they have a backup plan? Probably. I've heard, backup plans for, oh my God, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Punk. I mean, I've heard that, which, I mean, I'd love to see, but I mean, honestly, I think it will happen. And what would be really kind of ironic is if Seth has to say he does have to take 4 to 6 months off. He does have to get surgery. He doesn't compete at WrestleMania. The whole thing's out the window. And then he decides to vacate the title when Roman Reigns does this on a monthly, or yearly basis. I mean, he takes 4 to 6 months off and defends it every 4 to 6 months. Yeah. So Roman already has an injury schedule built in, but yet Seth has to be the one to vacate the belt. I mean, so it's just kind of funny to me if that ends up happening, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, God, yeah. I mean, literally, Roman could have a torn ligament after every time he graces, the show with his presence, and actually has a match, couldn't he? It's not fair. I don't like it, but there we go.
No, I know. I shouldn't have mentioned it, but
he started off Roman.
It's so easy to get into it because it just continues to get worse and worse and worse. And well, let me just ask you, because you've heard, if you listen to the show, there's so many possibilities really of which way they could go and when Roman could drop it, who he could drop it to, or do they just go to September and have him beat Hogan's record? Who does he face at WrestleMania? Does Roman compete twice at WrestleMania? Is it a triple threat at WrestleMania between Cody, Rock, and Roman? Well, so many different things. I mean, I'm not sure how much thought you've given to it, but what would you do, or what do you think is going to happen ultimately for Roman Reigns? Hey guys, we don't get too serious usually on this show, but there is an organization that really could use your help. It's called Color Me Love. It's color, COLOUR. And you can actually check out the website, colormelove.com. And what they do is provide a lifeline to children who need hope and healing. They turn trauma into transformation, and every child's story of healing is heard and honored. It's more than just a program, though. It promises every child is not alone in their struggles. So how does a contribution actually help the children? It builds a safe and welcoming facility or haven. It purchases art supplies, equipment, and other therapeutic materials. It funds professional counseling services. It covers the cost of daily essential needs-based items. It ensures ongoing support and development of their programs and the safety of their community. I mean, what better cause could you donate to? Again, it's called colormelove.com. It's COLOUR, melove.com. They also have a GoFundMe. I'll put the link to the GoFundMe in the description notes of this show. If you want to make a contribution, again, you can go to the GoFundMe link or directly to colormelove.com. Again, guys, this is an organization that is absolutely worth your time and any donation that you can spare. It's going to the best cause possible. So check them out, colormelove.com.
Yeah, I feel like I've given it probably more thought than I do my job some days, because I find myself getting quite enraged by it, because I just think one day when I have some proper time, I'm going to sit and do the actual maths of how many days he has shown up over his reign and find out what the actual number is, because it's all just... Anyway, so I don't know anybody who could care less about Reigns at this point. I don't know anybody. I mean, I have a massive, phone book of wrestling fans, but people I do know, they don't care anymore. They stopped caring when the bloodline started to, crack. I would love him to lose the belt coming up at Rumble. I don't care how. Honestly, I don't care. Even if they just write it into the script and suddenly he doesn't have it anymore, I just don't care. No payoff could be worth this what we've been put through. So I would love him to drop at Rumble. Probably, I think it's probably going to be to Orton, which is deserved. But I also wouldn't hate LA Knight. Not a huge Styles fan, so I wouldn't be bothered for him. But yeah, so drop at Rumble, and then for him just to have like a toddler kind of reaction, a tantrum when he loses. Rock's music hits, Rock comes out, cuts a scathing promo on him and really tears him a new one. Says, this is no way for the so-called head of the table to behave. You've embarrassed the family, blah 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 blah. And that builds to Rock Roman at WrestleMania. That's what I'd like.
I have no complaints on that because there's no title involved with Rock Roman. As much as I'm a proponent of Rock Roman and believe that it is a much bigger match, it's not even an opinion. It's a fact that is a bigger match than Cody Roman. And I know people are losing their minds that if Rock faces Roman for the belt, that's screwing Cody over. It's really not, because Cody could easily take the belt from him at the next event or at SummerSlam or wherever. His story doesn't have to end at WrestleMania, as apropos as many people believe that would be. So there's no title, and you could go to Cody and Orton, like you've mentioned. You could go right to them, and there's a heck of a story built in with their past ready to go too. So that's a really fun avenue that they haven't even touched yet. So I would second that. Right now, that is the path I would go. It kills two birds with one stone. You put Cody Rhodes as the Rumble winner against Randy Orton, so he gets his main event, he gets his title shot, and sure, if he wants to beat Randy, let him beat Randy. At that point, you have Rock Roman, and you have those two who have a mega match waiting to go. I don't want a triple threat. To me, Rock Roman is big on its own. If you put Cody in there, it feels like putting Charlotte Flair in with Becky and Ronda at WrestleMania 35. It's like, yes. don't do it. Like, the one-on-one is what it should be. So yes. I'm with you.
Yeah, let's hope, because I don't know. Before this happened, the 1,000 days and all that. Like nobody, unless I'm really badly mistaken, nobody really cared how long a title reign lasted, right? I mean, you didn't want it bouncing around on a daily basis, but I mean, nobody really cared, did they?
Well, there was Vince did have a bad habit, especially towards like the end, the last few years. It did feel at times where he was just, can somebody hold the belt for a little bit of time? And, I'm not a fan of hot potato, but I think Triple H has taken it now to the other extreme where nobody drops the belts ever outside of the women's tag team champions, Yeah. Now the U.S. title has changed hands. Gunther, though, is on a historic run. Obviously, we know the Roman Reigns run. So it's and the tag team champions, the undisputed tag team champions right now for the men. So it's they Triple H is hesitant to change champions, and I think it's something that we're just going to have to kind of get used to with him is longer title reigns than under Vince.
Yeah, some of those like. Gunther, for instance, like he feels kind of organic. That's okay. It feels okay because he is on. He does defend. He wrestles. We see him, and I guess the same to a point with the undisputed tag team belts as well. We see them a lot. They're seen. Yeah, the women. I mean, that's hilarious, isn't it? And.
I mean,
wow.
How as a woman, I mean, I would find that kind of I don't know. They have yet to show me that they can take the women's division, tag team division seriously. I mean, they've shown glimpses, and they'll tell us, especially this past week, well, we had a couple of women's tag team matches, but I added up the minutes, and those minutes were under 10 minutes total for the women's tag team division. Under 10 minutes wrestling total. So, like, don't tell me that they're on the show just so you can say, see, we put them on the show. It's like, but you put them in matches that are so short that if, you're sending a text message, you probably miss it,
Yeah.
So, I know what they're doing, but I still have not seen consistent evidence that they're taking the women's tag team division seriously. I don't know. Maybe you feel differently. I hope they do, but.
No, I honestly, since, we started off with Sasha and Bailey. I think they were the first two that held the titles. That felt good. Since then, I'm not sure there's been much credibility to any of it, and I almost wonder if they just rest the belts for a while they sort out the division. Because the women's division is strong, but the women's tag division, no, not strong. Yeah, I don't know what the answer is. I guess they just need more sort of, for example, Tegan Nox and Natalya. Why? Like, why? I don't understand.
I don't know either. And then they reintroduce Isla Dawn and Alba Fire this past week, and they lose. I mean, so I don't know. That there's just no consistency. It honestly, like, you look at it, and I mean, it doesn't even matter who the champions are. I know that they teased this week that who was it? Asuka and Kairi Sane were going to be the next challengers to the women's tag team championships, and it's like, so I mean, it feels so unimportant, and in so many instances, the champions have gone unopposed. WWE, leading up to past WrestleManias, have almost created a division out of thin air to pretend that there was a division. So they could create it. They had a championship for a division that really didn't exist. And then after WrestleMania, all those teams except the champions went away. So there really is no division. It's kind of embarrassing. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, the two that are the current holders. So it's the two guys who came up from NXT. Is it Katana and Caden, I think?
Yeah, Caden Carter and Katana Chance. Yep.
They're great, talented, but I don't feel like we know them well enough for them to have the belts. It doesn't make sense. And like you say, the two witchy ladies, Isla Dawn and Alba Fair, they're great. They've got potential. That, in my eyes, that's a proper tag team. They have a thing that they do, spooky witches. And that's great. You know, that's what you want, right? You want like the Iconics type, you know, type people. But yeah, I think, yeah, I don't know what the answer is. I don't know. They just need to put a bit more time and effort in, because you're right. Yeah, the women's tag team match, I think it was about 3 minutes. I think the men's tag team match before it was about six times longer or something. I did
No, I did the math. I'm just like, I need to see this on paper. I need to know the numbers, because they're trying to fool us by saying, well, look, see, the women still had matches. It's no. You're lying with statistics here, because you could say they were there, but look at how long they were on the show. I mean, it's and like you said, we don't know who these women are really. And it's just a simple character development. I'm not asking for them to create a novel and have a 30-minute, vignette. Just tell us who they are. Give us some personality. If you don't do that, I don't care, Yeah,
no, totally. They don't need their own miniseries. Just put a little bit of effort into, like, telling their story. Let us know them, because that's how you care, right? You don't just get introduced and think, yeah, no, I like you, I'm going to follow you.
Exactly. Well, all right. Well, moving on, a couple more things here, and we don't have too much time, but I'll ask you about Randy Orton and Solo Sikoa. Randy Orton on SmackDown went on an RKO barrage. I mean, the match didn't end. It was a no contest, but Randy Orton RKO'd every single person. It was kind of fun to watch. The RKO, even when Randy's heel, is just so much fun. It gets cheered no matter what he is. And he looks great. AJ Styles looks great. It's like they've both turned back the clock somehow. And he even RKO's Roman Reigns after Roman Reigns went for a spear. So what did you think of this? Did you think it's a sign of things to come?
I liked that. That last move was fun, where Roman came across and did the spear, and Randy just sort of plucked him out of midair and RKO'd him. That was a cool move. That looked awesome. I liked that a lot. But yeah, no, that program's great, and so it should be. It's got great people in it. But yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, whatever we can do to move away from this bloodline stuff. And I thought, at the beginning of the show, I don't know if I'm just clutching at straws here, but at the beginning of the show, there was a teeny tiny promo between Solo and Roman and Jimmy, and he'd arrived and started giving him grief because they hadn't fixed it, and Solo just said in a really sinister way, I'll fix it, but he kind of looked at Roman like, I'll fix it, I'll sort of fit, and I thought, oh, is he turning, or are we just supposed to think that? I thought might just be grasping at straws. So yeah, love this program. This is great.
Yeah, there was that moment. There was that moment of tension between Roman and Solo. That's the way I'd put it. Of like, he kind of let Roman know, I'll take care of business because you can't, or some like without saying it. And that's it was some nice tension for that moment. You could even see Roman, who's done he really is, as much as I complain about Roman's run, he has really improved leaps and bounds when it comes to his acting ability, even in ring. I mean, I have nothing to complain about there. It's obviously just his absences that are just inexcusable at this point. So yeah, I love that. It's a pretty big deal though, even for Randy Orton. When Solo Sikoa loses a match, I mean, that's a big deal. Now, Solo didn't lose, but he laid out everybody. I mean, that's a pretty big deal. I don't even know the last time everyone was laid out like that. So even for Randy, that's a big deal. And they may be, going back to your prediction earlier in the show, be setting up Randy a little bit for a massive victory at the Royal Rumble and claiming the championship. It's very possible this was a setup. Now I know we have one more show to go when it comes to the Royal Rumble, but this was a pretty big deal. Again, one of those fun kind of throwback type of endings to a SmackDown, where you'd see something like this with Stone Cold Steve Austin back in the day, or The Rock, where they'd lay out all the heels and stand tall to end the show and the crowd would be going nuts. You don't see that often. So no, it was a lot of fun to watch. But yeah, so I don't know what more to say about Randy Orton, but LA Knight and AJ Styles, that took place also on SmackDown. Did you have any vested interest really in LA Knight versus AJ Styles?
I like LA Knight. I'm so surprised at where he came from, because he was the Maxim Models guy, wasn't he? And then suddenly, I guess LA Knight is a throwback to something on NXT. I don't watch it, so I don't know, but I really like him, and it feels nice and natural that he's so over, and the crowd obviously love him. I mean, you could have predicted it, couldn't you? Again, bloodline distraction. Which ended in the DQ. It was a good match. They're both great. As I said, I'm not a massive Styles fan, but that's just me. I have no reason. He's a great wrestler, and as you said earlier, he is in phenomenal shape, like he's found a time machine or something. But yeah, no, I like LA Knight a lot, and I think he might fall out of the main event picture after Rumble. I wouldn't hate him to, challenge for one of the mid-card titles. That would be quite fun. I'd like to see him with some gold.
And I think that's probably where they're going to like LA Knight. LA Knight's probably going to maybe even be there to take the pinfall on Saturday night. He could be the one who's actually taking the fall. Him or AJ, I think, would be the ones to take the fall. But I think you have LA Knight set up in a position, though, where there's still enough crowd support for him that the fans would be 100% behind him to be the guy to take the belt off of Logan Paul. Because when you look at the Royal Rumble and KO versus Logan Paul, that's going to be a fun match. And we'll talk about that next and then wrap up the show. Sure. Is that I think, are set up for a perfect LA Knight, Logan Paul WrestleMania showdown. I mean, you could have one-on-one. You could have him in some kind of triple threat with Logan Paul, but I think that would be a great way to cap off this movement, because he's not going to win the title from Roman. It's not in the cards right now. There's too many other big names and other stories we got to finish. But LA Knight versus Logan Paul for the US title at Chamber, or probably more likely at WrestleMania, is probably where they're headed for a big victory for LA Knight on that stage.
I mean, that would be awesome. Imagine the pop, because the crowd, they hate Logan Paul. He's just the heeliest heel, isn't he? And LA Knight's so over. I mean, that would be a great moment.
It really should be. I mean, I don't see why the crowd wouldn't be 100% behind this. I really don't. I think it's a perfect fit for LA Knight as we move forward. And so wrapping up the show, what was the topic? I lost the topic I was going to say that we're going to close the show with. What was it? Oh, I can't remember what I was going to say, guys. That's the way it goes here. But so, I mean, when you look at the Royal Rumble, though, and you look at this and say, what are the big possible returns? What are the most likely to you when you look at this? What do you think? Do you think we'll see The Rock at the Rumble? Do you think we'll see Sasha Banks or Mercedes Moné at the Royal Rumble?
I don't think there's any chance. I don't think there's any chance that Rock will come back and compete at the Rumble. I think they're going to save him for the big one. Probably watch me make myself look a complete idiot now. You can clip that in the after show when he turns up and wrestles. So I hope we see Big E. I don't know if we will. I'd love to see Sasha. I think she belongs in WWE. Apart from Sasha, I haven't heard of any other females that might return. I guess they'll do the usual, walk down memory lane, and we'll end up with the legends. But that's only going to give them so many more years, right? Because before you know it, you'll have Lita coming out with a Zimmer frame. They need to figure out a solution there. And then I don't know about MJF. I don't know. It's all gone very quiet. I don't know. That would be the coolest thing ever. But I don't know. I don't know if you know about where that's at.
Yeah, so I mean, I've been on the MJF train for 2 years now, ever since he was talking about the bidding war 2024, and I mean, I'm still a proponent of it. I know a lot of people think, oh, he's way better off in AEW, which I mean, I don't think that's true. How can you've got a company right now that he has done everything really at that point there really is to do. I haven't heard anything when it comes to MJF coming to WWE. Many believe he's already quietly re-signed with AEW, and it's just taking time off to heal his injuries and also make people kind of think and wonder after he talked about this day for 2 years, kind of make people think, especially disappearing around the Rumble time. It's smart marketing, if it's not just good timing on his part with injury. So, I do I think he'll appear in the Rumble? If I was forced to answer, probably not, but he's WWE bound in the next couple of years. There's just no two ways about it. When it comes to The Rock, I think we will probably see The Rock. If we do, it's not the Rumble. It'll be after Roman Reigns either loses, or if he retains, The Rock could confront him. But The Rock is also possibly the reason the Roman Reigns loses. I mean, many are speculating that The Rock ends up, somehow screwing Roman Reigns, distracting him, which allows Randy Orton to hit the RKO, and then we have a new champion. Enrages Roman, and then we're off to the races with those two. So we probably, I think, would see The Rock in Tampa on Saturday. I'd give it a 50-50 shot in a non-wrestling capacity, obviously. I think Jade Cargill, we'll finally see the debut of Jade Cargill in the Royal Rumble match. So yeah, we haven't even talked about her, but what are your thoughts on Jade Cargill?
Oh, well, I'm excited. I mean, obviously we haven't seen much, have we? She's done a couple of cameos and bumped into a few people behind the scenes, but I mean, she looks amazing. And she's an ideal person to take up some slack while Charlotte's away, because they seem quite similar in their athleticness. So yeah, no, I'm excited. If she comes, if she makes a showing in the Rumble, that'll be awesome.
I think that, yes, that is going to happen. I think you're going to have Jade Cargill come at a point where Nia Jax has been in there dominating for so long and tossing people out. It'll be like a Drew McIntyre eliminating Brock Lesnar moment, when you have, Brock was eliminating person after person after person after person, and then you have somebody finally coming out to stop them. I think Jade Cargill could go face to face with Nia Jax in that match. That's what's so great about the Rumble. You have like little storylines within the match itself that evolve throughout the match. It's a brilliantly strategized match usually. So I think that's probably how they'll introduce her. I don't think Jade's going to win, but it's a great way to at least get her feet wet in the ring in front of a live crowd and see what she can do.
Yeah, no, totally. And if she could be the one that takes out Nia, because presumably we're going to have that sort of situation where Nia's just machining people over the top. That would be awesome. I'm not a huge Nia fan.
No, but she has, I gotta say, I gotta give her the devil her due, and I'm not a Nia fan either, but she's the most relevant she's ever been right now. I mean, with Becky Lynch, and they've somehow found chemistry and made me care about a program I didn't think I'd care about.
That was a decent match. And we got Becky bleeding again, which probably another moment that'll be in a Hall of Fame reel in years to come. It was decent. Same as you. I don't like her style. I think she does hurt people a little bit, but no, she's done okay since she's been back this time.
Yeah, and I told her, I'll just finish up with this, is I said, hey, if you guys want to own this, own it. Don't hide from the fact that fans think you hurt everyone you work with. I would just own it and say, you know what? My mission here isn't to make friends, isn't to even necessarily win championships, is to physically hurt every single person I work with. Just dive into it and own it. I mean, people already think that, so don't try to change it. Just go with it. So that's personally what I would have done with her. And they seem to kind of be going that road where, I mean, she did make Becky bleed a little bit again, and She is a heavier woman, so she does, by just physics, have a higher chance of injuring her opponents. She just does. So,
yeah, for sure. But no, I think you're right. I think they lean into it, and that's probably how she'll survive.
Absolutely. Well, any final thoughts on anything you wanted to bring up that we didn't hear before we kind of wrap things up?
No, I think I'm good. Thank you for having me. It's been great.
Yeah, this has been a lot of fun. It's great to hear a female voice in the show. That's why we're doing this. I really enjoyed this. And for those that don't know, Amanda is located in the UK, and I didn't know she was located in the UK until we hit record. And she got up early. It's 3 or 4 a.m. where you are right now?
It's 3:45.
Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. See. So like now I feel so bad. Now hopefully she's going to go back to sleep. So that's good. Get back to sleep. Don't let your mind run. But I do feel like super bad about that you had to get up early. So all of us should have a standing ovation for Amanda tonight.
Oh, no. Thank you. It's been great.
Thanks so much, Amanda. It's really been a blast, and go get yourself some sleep.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye. Hey guys, we don't get too serious usually on this show, but there is an organization that really could use your help. It's called Color Me Love. It's Color, COLOUR. And you can actually check out the website, colormelove.com. And what they do is provide a lifeline to children who need hope and healing. They turn trauma into transformation, and every child's story of healing is heard and honored. It's more than just a program, though. It promises every child is not alone in their struggles. So how does a contribution actually help the children? It builds a safe and welcoming facility or haven. It purchases art supplies, equipment, and other therapeutic materials. It funds professional counseling services. It covers the cost of daily essential needs-based items. It ensures ongoing support and development of their programs and the safety of their community. I mean, what better cause could you donate to? Again, it's called colormelove.com. It's COLOUR. melove.com. They also have a GoFundMe. I'll put the link to the GoFundMe in the description notes of this show. If you want to make a contribution, again, you can go to the GoFundMe link or directly to colormelove.com. Again, guys, this is an organization that is absolutely worth your time and any donation that you can spare. It's going to the best cause possible. So check them out, colormelove.com.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.